Rocking syndrome tells us about the central nervous system, the four basic functions of the brain. And those are voluntary movement, perception, homeostasis, and something that is already described as abstract functions, higher functions, or cognition. Okay, so let's just go through what these various functions mean. Voluntary movement is everything that we do. When I say voluntary, what I mean is something that is driven by the brain. And that can be something that I do completely volitionally, completely deliberately. Like I say, I'm going to raise my hand, and I raise my hand. That's a voluntary, volitional movement. But if I step on something and I wince in pain, that's an emotional movement. For right now, we are classifying both of them as voluntary movements. They are self-generated and they come from ourselves. And these voluntary movements are the only way that we have to express ourselves. Where actions and talk and actions, they are all one action. So the talk is an action, and we use many different muscles that are needed to talk or express ourselves. So talking, writing, having a facial expression, raising your hand, jumping up and down, doing a new dance step. All of these are voluntary movements, and these were definitely lost in many people with Lockheed syndrome. All they can do is move their eyelids. Okay, so that's a voluntary movement. Perception is distinct from sensation, and that's a very important concept. Perception is what we consciously appreciate about sensation. So I sense all sorts of stuff that I have no perception about. So for instance, my brain senses how much salt there is in my blood, where I have no idea how much salt there is in my blood. But there are sensors that tell us how long our muscles are and where our joints are. None of that actually reaches conscious perception. The perceptions that we have include visions, hearing, smell, taste, a sense of balance, and a sense of position in the world. Where are we? All of those are perceptions that we have. They actually reach consciousness, a conscious level. The third major function that we are going to talk about is homeostasis. And homeostasis is what we use to keep our body within physiological limits, to make sure that we have enough oxygen to our brain and to the rest of our body. So we have to make sure that there's enough oxygen delivered to the body, that there's enough blood pressure that keeps us upright. We have to make sure that our body temperature stays within limits, the physiological limits that the body will tolerate. There are life cycle events that are challenging to our being, and these include giving birth and nursing a newborn suckling from a mother. All of these things are a part of homeostasis. They are part of package that keeps us alive. Another part of homeostasis is rhythm, the rhythm of our lives, the daily rhythm, the wake and the sleep, and the seasonal rhythm. The seasonal rhythm has a little bit less of an obvious influence on us than the daily rhythm. And then the cycle of life. So we go from infancy to childhood to adolescence, to early adulthood to middle age to be older. And so these are all part of homeostasis. It's all part of the challenge of staying alive. These are things like thinking and feeling emotions, motivation, language, memory, and learning. All of these are part of our higher abstract functions. Another incredibly important abstract function is how we interact. How do we play well with others? How do we get in that sandbox and survive it? So these are all part of abstract functions, and they are very important part of being a human.